Buckle up, because this ride is about to get a whole lot more bumpy. The tongue tie journey. Let's get into it. Grab a drink or a snack, because I have a lot to unpack. Take a deep breath. Let me just... Okay, we have a lot of catching up to do. In our last tongue tie episode, I was plugging along, doing all of my tongue tie exercises, my lip taps. I was doing my four corners. I was doing all of that, and I was doing it beautifully in preparation for my tongue tie release surgery that I was planning on having in LA with Dr. Zaghi. We originally thought that I would have like a simple tongue tie release, but after working with me and doing my sleep test, which I failed miserably with a pretty moderate to leaning on severe sleep apnea, when we did my beam read, my C scan of my neck and my structure of my jaw and all of that, we found out that I had one of the world's smallest airways, that was the smallest that my dentist had ever seen. So it put a kink in things. I then, after the C scan and after realizing that my airway was so small, the local dentist that I was working with said, we've got to make some more room, or I wouldn't even suggest that you get the tongue tie because you're not going to have enough space. She said that with something with the aligners, like these Candid Pro, these little aligners can help expand a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and sometimes that can help the airway. So as much as I was against that, I thought, I'll do it. And so then, close to $7,000 later, I got these aligners. I'm on tray number 6. At any rate, I'm moving towards, the goal, which is to get the tongue tie release. Around February 15th, I go back to my myofunctional therapist, and she had said, okay, we're going to reassess your progress. And if you have made enough progress, then I'm going to write the referral slip and all of your progress. I'm going to send that on to Dr. Zaghi, who will be the surgeon, the ENT doctor that will do the procedure in LA. I'll give all him the information, and then hopefully you'll be able to book your Zoom calls with him to eventually get your tongue tie release. We were hoping sometime in March. So I did all my retesting, and I was like a champion. I worked my tongue like nobody's business, like I was in the Olympics. And let me just tell you, it is like a full-time job. Doing the whole tongue tie exercises 3 times a day. It's a lot of work, but I am committed. And my progress showed. I several millimeters or inches of each of the exercises, I improved. She took more pictures and video, and then she put the package together and said, I'm going to write my little write-up over the weekend, and on Monday we'll send it off to Dr. Zaghi. Dr. Zaghi receives my information, I fill out all the paperwork, and I get my first Zoom consultation appointment. You get 2. When you're going to see Dr. Zaghi, especially when you're out of the state, you get your first Zoom call with the staff, and they go through everything with you. And then you get a second Zoom call with Dr. Zaghi to go over specifics, and then you book your appointment for your release. Take a breath. Okay. So I have my first appointment with the Zoom consult gal in LA, and it was beautiful. We did, she went through everything. She took pictures on Zoom, and she said, yeah, you definitely have, kind of a level 3 grade, and it's pretty severe. You definitely are a candidate for this. And then she said, after going through all the info, she said, there are some cases where you don't have to do the second Zoom call, that you can just make the appointment. The doctor looks over the work, all of the paperwork, and if he doesn't see really any issues, you can come in and do the same day consultation and then have it released, which would push things forward a little bit, because I really would like to get this done. So I said, oh, that would be amazing. I would love that. And then she said, I'll let you know by the end of the day, what your schedule will be. So then I'm all excited about it. I'm thinking, this is great. I'm gonna get it sooner than I thought. And then I get the email. And the email says, the doctor's looked over your case, but he really wants to do the second Zoom call with you. So of course I'm panicked, because I'm thinking, there's got to be something wrong. Like, why would he not take my case? But then I'm trying to talk myself off a ledge. I text, or I messaged them back an email and said, okay, I'm really disappointed. I hope it's nothing that's too bad. You know, did he say anything? This is the weekend too. Like I'm gonna have the whole weekend to even hear anything. And luckily they sent me a message back and they said, generally when there's concerns, the doctor will do the second Zoom call. And here's the time frame we have. And luckily when they sent back, it was, you know, just within a few days, maybe 4 days, that they had like 2 different appointments. I took the soonest one. All weekend I was on pins and needles. Come Monday, yes, it was on a Monday. Come Monday at 2:45, I got on the Zoom call with Dr. Zagi. And, you know, everything's nice and I'm feeling happy. I'm gonna kill him with kindness because I'm gonna get this tongue tie done. And he starts talking a little bit. He's looking at my case and he says, you know, your case is very high risk. And your airway is so tiny that I don't feel comfortable doing this release. I will say, he did say after all of this talking, he said, I could release a tiny bit that might give you, you know, maybe 10, 15, potentially 20% relief, if that. He goes, but it would be too much of a risk of your tongue swelling, that there's not enough space in your mouth. And that every high-risk patient that I have worked with, when they haven't had the space, they've had a poor result, like they have not been happy. And I am just, at this point, defeated. I am just, honestly, I feel freaking defeated. I put all this effort in, and I'm not gonna get my tongue tie, and I'm not gonna get my tongue tie release. And you gotta understand, like this tongue tie release is not just about my tongue, it is literally about the entire life I've been carrying this neck and shoulder pain, and now this hip pain, this chronic pain where I'm stressed all the time, and my sleeping is crap. I mean, all of it. And I'm thinking, I've spent all this time, I've spent now between the myofunction and the, you know, and the aligners, I'm in more like $13,000 about, and now I'm not gonna be able to get the tongue tie. And then he says this. I should preface, and by the way, this is going to be a part 2 because I cannot fit everything in because there's so much more. He explained everything to me, by the way. We went through all the numbers and all the things. He said, you know, yes, this is severe. Like you need to get this taken care of, and your sleep issues will get worse if something isn't done. He said, but the only thing that would allow you, you know, to safely have this tongue tie removed. And also, by the way, he said, even if I did go deeper, it would grow back because there is no space for your tongue and, you know, in my mouth, because even you've got some kind of scalloping because your tongue is kind of a little bit outside of the, you know, outside of the teeth. You know, do you know that your upper and your lower your upper should be potentially, like, I don't know how much exactly, but bigger. It should be bigger than your lower teeth, and mine, the same. They are the same. And by the way, they're like the back growth of my teeth is like of an 8-year-old. And I'm missing 2 molars, by the way. And no, every person asked me, in fact, he said, did you get them removed? And my myofunctional therapist says, did you get them removed? They're like, no. And then this other dentist, you had teeth removed? I have never had teeth removed except for my wisdom teeth. They never came in. And you know why? Because of this dang tongue tie. Because the tongue tie kept everything tiny and small and they never came in. I digress. Okay, itchy nose. Then Dr. Zagi says, there is one thing you can do. Have you ever heard of the MARPE? And this is a really good time to stop and go into part 2 because we have to unpack the MARPE.